John O'Donohue and his blessing for leaders, a blessing that the staff in the session and I have been receiving over the last few weeks. It encourages us to look for the springtime edges of the bleak question. So on this beautiful spring day, I thought it best to you to bring greetings from the Manse garden, where Heather, Lou, and I have been hard at work, planting flowers and vegetable seeds and seedlings, and I thought this might be the perfect setting to bring you news from the church today. On Tuesday evening, the session met and spent a long time in theological reflection on the question that is on everyone's mind. When can we gather in person? We considered guidance being offered by the scientific community, by government officials, and by the religious community, the wider religious community. We shared our personal feelings, our feelings of sadness because we miss being together, feelings of anxiety as we also don't want to contribute to the spread of the disease, and our feelings of frustration because everything feels unpredictable, unsettled. And we came to the decision that First Pres will continue to suspend in-person gatherings through the summer. With tears in our eyes, we voted confidently and unanimously to continue to do our part to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Once the session made that decision, the tone of the conversation shifted. We focused on the question of how. How will we be the church over the course of the next few months? We looked for the springtime edge, and God's creative spirit moved among us in the midst of that conversation. So let me tell you a little bit about some of the things that we're looking forward to over the summer. First of all, we will continue to worship together in the online format through the summer. The deacons have been hard at work, not only checking in with each of you, but also praying for you and planning for the summer worship series. The theme for the summer series is going to be songs that feed our souls. I encourage you to start thinking about what song or two has shaped your faith. What song or two has seeped into your spirit and taught you something about God, taught you something about God's creation within or around you. And soon there will be an opportunity for you, each and every one of you, to send me your song title with perhaps a little brief description about why the song is important to you, and then I'll put together a playlist, a Spotify list, that all of our songs might be included, and we can share that list with the congregation. Of course, our summer preachers will have the chance to share a little bit more about the songs that they choose, and because we'll be worshiping online, we do have the opportunity to invite some of our more far-flung members to preach, like Bryce Wiebe and Charlie Gordon. In addition to worship online and listening to the songs that feed our souls, we have a lot of other ideas as to how we can stay connected and live out our faith together as a community over the course of this summer. We could build raised beds like this one, but on the front lawn of the church. We could grow food and flowers and build relationships with one another as we tend to the garden and share our crop with our neighbors at CCA. You could invite your friends to come together, and while practicing social distancing, we can safely work for the well-being of our community. We could also form small groups that read books together, groups that watch movies together or listen to podcasts together or read scripture together. Of course, these groups would meet virtually, or they could determine whether an in-person gathering could be done safely. But before we begin to make any plans of any of these things, we need to hear from you. To better know what you have the bandwidth for, what you have the energy for, we need to hear from you. So in this email, there's a brief survey, and I invite you to fill it out. It won't take you but just a moment to do, but it'll be really helpful to understand how you want to be involved in the life of First Pres over the course of this next summer. Church, God is still at work among us, calling us to be the church in this time and place. If it does become practical based on science and the safety of the whole community to schedule some additional outdoor events, efforts will be made to do so. But in the meantime, we are still the church. still called to love God and to love our neighbors as Christ loves us. Thanks be to God that the springtime edge is ever present, reminding us that, as the hymn suggests, in the bulb there is a flower, in the seed an apple tree. New and magnificent life emerges out of that which we cannot yet see. Church, I miss you. I miss you terribly. But I do believe that together we are living out our faith to care for the community, to love the world that is God's own creation. And for that I give thanks. May God's peace be with you this day, as always.